Hello, welcome Simon's Trading Channel. That's the name of it. Welcome back. If this is your first time, then just welcome. And I'd like to wish you all a happy Sunday. It's the end of the week for Bybit, and they got a little bit to do and the other perpetual exchange has got a little bit to do to catch up to where CME closed on Friday, being, as you can see over here, 67 and change, and that's currently, that's Bitstamp, but there's Bybit at 66.5. So a bit of work to do to catch up to the CME closure on Friday, but I think it's probably a legitimate target. I will check in on the super low time frames in a moment, because there hasn't been a great deal of price action since I recorded my video yesterday. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering why yesterday's video seemed to magically appear earlier on today, that's because this undisclosed location I'm in Somerset, has really rubbish Wi-Fi, so it took forever to upload. I'm hoping that this one does a bit quicker. So yes, apologies for that. Anyway, what's this chart? You're thinking to yourself, well, this is just amusing. So this is a muse of mine, which basically would suggest, and this probably won't go down very well, that the next macro high for Bitcoin is around 100k. And that's quite far from where price action is at the moment, but it's not that much higher than the previous all-time high at 69. So, interesting. Particularly when, other far more established and bigger names than mine have called out future $1 million Bitcoins in the past. So it's a bit controversial, and you can treat it as you want. But how I've arrived at that number is pretty simple. So all I did was, this is the full history of Bitcoin on Bitstamp, all right? So starting humbly at whatever it was, like $2, up to where it is currently at 66,000. Oh, if only I'd spent 100 of my hard-earned pounds on Bitcoin in 2009 or 10. You do the math. Anyway, so there was this first move up and then a move down. 87% is the percentage drawdown from this high to this low. Well, I know it doesn't appear like it's 70%, 87% of basically that whole move up. But in real terms it is, of course, because it went from 1,150, give or take, all the way down to 150. So it lost 87% of its value before then moving up to here. And this 1,500% is the difference between, or the price change from when the Bitcoin's price broke the previous all-time high there, which we just saw was 1150, and then what it achieved. So it went from there up to there, and that move was 1,500%. That easy, you can do it yourself. Just, if I move this silly thing out of the way, it's there every time I do my video, man. So you just go from here with your little measurometer up to there, and as you can see, 1,500%. All right, so 87% drawdown, 1,500% above the all-time high. So if you like, a 1,500% fresh price move. So even if you'd bought that high, you would still have made 1,500%. Oh, if I had a time machine. Anyway, the next one is obviously this pullback, and that is 84%. So similar to this pullback. And then the next one is the move above that all-time high. So this all-time high here. And the move from that all-time high, which was, let's just call it 19,000, so from here up to the previous all-time high, 69,000, was a 250% move. Got a bit of gas there, apologies for that. Good job it's not smell-o-vision. And so you can see there's a huge difference between 1,500% and 250%. In fact, it is a sixth. Now, the next drawdown or pullback, or whatever you want to call it, bear market, these are all bear markets obviously, occurred from the previous all-time high to the current macro low. And that, similar to the other two really, was 78%. So not quite in the 80s, but you know, a similar percentage power. And so what I've done, because the moves up from the from one all-time high to the next, from one all-time high to the next, because there was such a big disparity, what I've done is just taken I've turned them into a fraction. So this is a sixth of this, right? So I'm just making a very bold presumption that the next move, percentage move from the current all-time high, will be a sixth of 250, just like 250 was a sixth of 1,500, and a sixth of 250 is 42. So 42% from this all-time high takes you to round about 100k. So there you go. It's a bit of a stupid thing to do. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure it would be particularly reliable, but it is what it is. What I found more interesting was the similar drawdown figures. You know, just sort of round them all. Let's call them roughly 80%. I thought that was interesting. So you know, even so, clearly working that through in your mind, if you buy the high and you don't lose less than 80% of your investment, then you're probably going to be all right. None of this channel is financial advice, by the way, and that would probably be the worst financial advice that anyone has ever offered anyone in the history of time. In fact, in the history of speech. Right. So there you go. That's 8 minutes. I am just going to very quickly check in on the 15-minute time frame, and you'll see the reason for that will become very clear when I switch on to Bybit, because on the 4-hour, since I recorded my video yesterday that only uploaded earlier on today, price hasn't done very much. In fact, I recorded it when the price was here. So it's moved up a bit and it's come back down. On the 15-minute, you might be able to sort of make a bit more. So the 15-minute is clearly in the downtrend. I would suggest on the 15-minute, come on, load up chart, crikey Moses, that the area you don't really want to see broken to the downside would be around 65.8. I would suggest that. So basically, this bottom here and this bottom here. And so it could easily sort of pull back to there really, without changing the overall shape, even on the 15-minute. But I think if it starts to close back below this low, then maybe more downside. And I mean, that's on the super low time frames. The 4-hour is same analysis as yesterday. As long as it is on a 4-hour and daily, Bitcoin can stay above, well, line in the sand, 60,000, but for trend continuation, well, still technically 60,000, i.e. this low, but more likely 63,000. So there you go. That is 10 minutes of your time. I appreciate it. And if you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. That'd be cool. And if you haven't enjoyed it, don't come back tomorrow because I'll be doing it all again. Okay, bye. Enjoy what's left of your Sunday.